All right, fourth graders. Hi, I'm very sorry that I am not teaching you guys today. I hope that you still have a wonderful day. I will be back on Monday, but I wanted to make sure that we were all still learning and just, trying our best. So I am recording the lesson for you guys. Now, show me that these iPads are really worth it and that you guys can use them appropriately. I know that you can, but I just wanted to remind you, show the substitute that you are respectful and kind. Because when I get back on Monday, I asked the substitute to write down names of students that are following directions and being respectful. And if your name is on there, I hope the whole class is on there. I will bring in some kind of surprise depending on how many people are on there. And I hope it's a whole class party because that would be really cool. But you guys need to make sure that you are following your sheet. So I know that the first thing was our version of our afternoon meeting, making sure that you answered those questions because I'm going to be checking them and I want to hear your answers, especially the one about what do you like about class? What do you not like about class? I think that would be really interesting to hear what you like and don't like. So now you're on the part where it says 12:20, or I'm sorry, it actually should say 12:30 to 1 o'clock. If this takes you a little bit longer, that's okay. I just want you to get through the lesson part. That's the most important part. But you need to make sure that you have headphones, an iPad, and keyboard for today's lesson. So I am going to show you the PowerPoint, what I have typed up for you guys, but just those announcements. Remember that Jump Street, you gotta have 100% attendance, and then remember that walking out of class today still applies. So if you walk out of class or if you have more than 3 color changes, just making sure that you're staying on track and you're being that leader today. I know that it's hard to have a substitute, but just keep that in mind that we do have Jump Street just around the corner. So today's objective at the end of the lesson today, sorry it's backwards for you guys, but you'll be able to write your own narrative. So just like we wrote our narrative about the wacky shoes, we're going to write another kind of funny narrative. I think it's kind of funny and I hope you guys like mine. But we're going to we're going to write another narrative today. So just remember, quick review, remember that narrative writing, you use a story map, right? And we follow that beginning, that middle, and that end, the climax being that end. And then for informational writing, we follow PACE. So today, which one do you think we're going to be using if we're writing narrative? Story map or PACE? I hope you answered story map because we're going to be using a story map today. So we are going to read There's Plenty of Fish in the Trees, kind of a funny title, but I want you guys to really be looking for what is that problem, right? How is it introduced and what is the solution? So follow along as I'm reading to you. If you want to go ahead of me and you feel like you guys can read without me, go for it, but I'm going to read it out loud to you. So here is the story. Make sure you're following along. There's plenty of fish in the trees. Not all Ivans were silly. Here is a story of one who had his head on the right way around. Ivan had a wife who could never keep quiet. Tell her a secret and be sure all her gossips would know it before dinner. He did his best to cure her of her habit, but in vain her tongue just went on flapping like washing on the line. One day, Ivan was working in the fields, and his spade hit something hard. He felt around with his hands and found that he had struck a chest full of gold coins. He took it home and showed it to his wife. Our fortune's made, he said, but we must be very careful. If the master hears about it, he will surely claim the treasure for himself. After all, it was buried on his land. They thought carefully about where they should hide the gold. And the wife said they should dig a hole in the floor. This is what they did, and Ivan smoothed the surface so that no signs of the treasure were to be seen. Now, my love, whatever you do, say no word of this to one living soul, said Ivan. If a whisper of it reaches the master's ears, we shall be poor again, and he will have me whipped into the bargain. Trust me, said the wife. You know I'll always keep your secret safe. Ivan knew no such thing. He waited until his wife was fast asleep. Then he got up, dug up the gold, and buried it in the barn under a great heap of dung. Poop. Next morning he said to his wife, Tomorrow we must go into the woods to catch fish. Fish in the woods? She said. I never knew that this is where you catch them. Why, of course! It's much the best place. And Ivan kept his face very serious indeed. While his wife was at the market, he took some fish that he had caught a day or two earlier, together with a dead hare and a basket full of stale cakes from the baker's. He took them into the woods. When he came home, he was empty-handed. After they had eaten next morning, Ivan took his wife by the hand, and they walked to the woods together. Very soon she found a pile dangling from a tree. Next, she found a perch and 2 roaches. She was even more surprised when she came upon a tree which was growing cakes. Look, husband, she said, cakes on a tree. Of course, he said. Everyone knows that's where they grow. Now, Ivan went down to the river and pulled in his line. On the hook there was a hare. Goodness me, said the wife. Just fancy. Hare in the river. Quite a good one, too, said Ivan calmly. Usually they are only half that size. He unhooked the hare and put it in his bag. Then they went home with the day's catch. They ate a good dinner that night. By now the wife's wagging tongue had made sure that all the village knew about Ivan's treasure. Very soon the news reached the ears of the master in the big house. He sent for Ivan. The man went to the house, and he took his good wife with him. What is this I hear? Said the master gravely. Have you found treasure on my land and not reported it to me? It's just idle gossip, said Ivan. There's not a word of truth in it. But your own wife says it's true. Oh, she's a crazy woman, said Ivan. You can never believe a word she says. That's not true, said the wife. You know very well that you brought that treasure home. When was that? Why, it was the day before we caught fish in the woods. What is this? Said the master. Fish in the woods? Yes, master, said the wife eagerly. And the very same day we picked cakes off the trees. There were lots of them. Then, on the way home, my man fished a fat hare out of the river. Take her home, said the master to Ivan. You are right, she is a crazy woman. Still, the master was no fool. He sent his men to the cottage. When Ivan was out, they dug up the floor and searched high and low, but no treasure could they find. Ivan spent it coin by coin in the market, and it kept them in comfort for many years. All right, I want you to look at your story map. It says complete the story map, for there's plenty of fish in the trees. Now, we know that we always start with the climax, and the climax is the problem of the story. So I want you to think, what is the problem in this story? When you got it, write it down. What is the problem in this story? When you got it, write it down. Now, I believe that the problem is that the husband doesn't want his wife to tell everyone where the gold coins are hidden. But if you have something about gold coins, I want you to make sure that you are writing it down because I'm going to be checking. Sorry for that glare. I want you to make sure that you're writing it down at the tippy top. Okay? And then the next part, it says, how does this problem start? How does this problem start? What is the husband doing? So if you put down that the husband is working on the fields when he hit something hard, that's what you want to write down here, that he was digging and he found some gold. And now we're over here. How is that problem solved? So he doesn't want anyone to find out. So what did he end up doing? Oh, down here. If you want to say that he ended up rehiding the gold, that's good. You could also say that he convinced his wife that he was crazy, that you can catch fish in the woods. You can put any of that. Remember that we did always start at the tippy top. Okay? So, today you are going to be writing for your exit ticket. You are going to be writing your own narrative. Okay? Just like we've done before. And keep in mind, you can write it or type it just like last time. So, you're going to be writing your own narrative. I'm going to read you the prompt just so that you can keep it in your mind. But it says, there is plenty of fish in the trees. A husband outsmarts his wife. Think about the details the author uses to create the character, setting, and events. Imagine that you, like the husband in the story, find a chest full of gold coins. You know you have to keep it safe so no one steals it from you. Write a story about how you find the gold and how you decide to keep it safe. So I made my own story that I want to share with you too, but before I do that, sorry, this glare is terrible. Before I do that, I want to show you, I want to show you my story map, okay? So notice that there's not much, and I'm sorry, it's backwards. Notice that there's not much. When you create your own story map, remember it's just kind of a plan. It's just an outline, and you don't have to have a lot of details on it, okay? Now you're going to keep the same problem that the husband had. I'm going to repeat that. You're going to keep the same problem that the husband had. And the problem that the husband had was that he wanted to keep his coins a secret so that nobody steals them, right? They're a secret. So you're going to pretend that you have these coins and you want to keep them a secret so that nobody steals them from you, okay? Here's my story. Don't judge me. Here's my story, okay? So my beginning is I'm riding the bus home and find the coins on the bus. That's my beginning. Now my climax is I want to keep the coins a secret so no one steals them from me. And then my ending is my mom and I keep the coins our secret. So again, it's not much, but it does have a beginning and a middle and an end. So keep that in mind. As I'm reading my story to you today, I want you to think about your ideas for your own story. And remember, if you want an example of my story, they're always clipped to the board, so you can grab one. It should be clipped to the board. And there's plenty of copies for everyone if you want to read along with me, but I'll read you my story. Again, don't judge me, okay? Mine is titled, The Coins Were Singing to Me by Miss Myers. I was just minding my own business, riding the bus from Grandma's house, when I looked over and saw the shiniest gold coin I had ever seen. It almost was like it did that thing, that "ah" sound that angels make when they appear. It was beautiful. I looked around to see if anyone had saw it too, but to my surprise, I was the only one on the bus. Well, me and the bus driver. But he was too focused on driving and keeping me safe, what he does best. I did a cool slide over to the coin and looked around again. We were coming to a stop, and I didn't want to see anyone, and I didn't want anyone to see me check it out. Just then, a man got on the bus. "Hey, dude, can you scoot over?" he asked. "Sorry, my mom told me I can't sit with strangers, but it looks like there's plenty of room over there." I pointed across the bus, knowing that what I just said wasn't cool, but I didn't want him to see the coin I just found. He started to walk over to the other side of the bus, and I felt so relieved. Finally, it was time to check out the coin. I held it up, and again, it made that "ah" sound that angels make when they appear. I quickly put it down so the man on the bus didn't see, But he seemed more interested in his music than what I was doing. Just then we stopped. 2 other men got on the bus, and again, one of them tried to sit with me. My mom told me I can't sit with strangers talk. To my surprise, it worked again. Only this time, when he left the spot right where he was standing, he left 5 more gold coins. They were making the ah noise again, too. This was weird, really weird. Either these coins were talking to me or I was crazy, or both. But I'm not crazy. I quickly got off the bus and took all of the coins with me. The bus started to drive away when all of a sudden a chest full of coins were there. They were all singing to me. Oh, oh, oh. How do you not see this? Hear this, I thought. I must be going crazy. I grabbed the chest and ran home. I know I spilled a couple coins out of the chest, but I didn't care. I wanted to show my mom what I had found. When I walked in the door, I yelled, "Mom! I need you now! Come quick!" She ran into the living room to find me staring over the chest of coins. "What did you do? These are coins the museum people are looking for. They have been all over the news," she shouted at me. "What? I didn't know that. I found them on the bus. They were singing to me. Do you hear them?" "No, but everyone is looking for them. They are worth a lot of money," she continued to say. "Well, can we keep them?" I asked. "Where did you find them again? Where did you say you found them?" she questioned. "On the bus. They were just laying there waiting for me and singing to me," I said. "Let me talk to your dad, but for now, don't tell anyone you have them. Promise?" she explained. "I promise." I gave her a funny smile. It's been almost 10 years. Mom never asked Dad about the coins, and I never asked Mom about them. It's our little secret. So that's my story. I want you to think about your own story now. Hopefully I gave you some ideas. So at the top of your story map, you have that you want to keep the coins a secret so no one steals them from you. I want you to think about your beginning and your end. Take some time to do that right now. All right, whenever you finish that, you can always go back in this video. Whenever you finish that, it's time for your exit ticket, okay? Now, just like in the past, you can decide if you're going to write it or type it. If you choose to write it, there's always extra paper in the extra paper bin, okay? If you choose to type it, I'll know that you type it because you'll have turned it in at the end of class. If you're typing it, you don't need to put anything on the lines. Just leave it blank and I'll know that you're typing, okay? Really think about dialogue. Can you add some areas of dialogue? Look up at our chart. Are there other ways that you can say said? Make sure you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? And then finally, when you finish this, if this takes until specials, then this takes until specials, and that's fine. I want this done. But if you finish, then it's independent reading time. You need to make sure that you do at least 20 minutes on Light Sail or Overdrive. If I choose to check your minutes and I don't see that you've read 20 minutes on Light Sail, I will lock you out of Epic. And if I choose to check if you're reading a book on Overdrive and I don't see a book that you've been reading, I will lock you out of Epic. So it's your job to make sure that you have at least 20 minutes on Epic or Overdrive. After that, you can move to Epic. When it's time for cleanup, I have a couple people down there that are working with jobs. Make sure that those jobs are done and make sure our classroom is picked up because you know the expectation and you know what our classroom is supposed to look like. Cool. Good luck, guys. Happy lesson.